Okay, so I have to start today with a bit of a playful confrontation. I really need you to be completely honest with me right now.
Oh, no. I do not like the sound of that tone at all. What did I do? Or, what did I forget to do this time?
Oh, that's not what you did. It's what we all do. I just want to ask you a very simple question. When was the last time you looked at your bank account and honestly felt good?
Well, you have to define good. Because if you mean, like, not purely panic-induced, that is one thing entirely. But if you mean actually happy, like walking on sunshine, that is a very different metric.
Exactly. See, that hesitation right there, that split-second pause where your brain is trying to calibrate exactly how much anxiety is acceptable, that is the entire reason we are here today.
It's funny you asked that because I used to have this very specific physical reaction to checking my balance. I call it the one eye closed phenomenon.
The one eye closed.
Yeah, I would literally squint at my phone screen, kind of holding it at arm's length like I was watching a horror movie. And I just didn't want to see the monster jump out. I really didn't want to see the full reality of the number.
The one eye closed technique.
Yeah.
That is so relatable, it actually hurts. And I think, honestly, if we were to poll everyone listening right now, a huge percentage would admit to doing the exact same thing. It's just that feeling of visceral avoidance.
It is. And if you are listening to this right now and nodding your head thinking, yep, I treat my banking app like it's a radioactive object, then this conversation is specifically designed for you.
Welcome to the Money Cheat Code Podcast. I'm Kai.
And I'm Maya.
And our mission here is pretty simple. We are here to give you the cheat codes to build wealth, handle your business, and generally get your financial life together without it being boring, without it being complicated, and definitely without it being dry.
That is the goal. Zero jargon, zero judgment, just the stuff that actually works in the real world.
But today's a little different. We aren't opening up any spreadsheets. We aren't debating the merits of different investment vehicles or tax strategies. We're going way deeper than that.
We are going straight to the root. We are talking about money psychology. Because you can have the best budget spreadsheet in the entire world, the most sophisticated investment plan, but if looking at it makes you physically nauseous, you aren't going to use it.
Precisely. We are talking about your relationship with money. Why does it cause that physical anxiety? Why do we act weird about it? And most importantly, how do we fix it?
I love this topic so much because it's the invisible barrier. It's the thing nobody sees, but absolutely everyone feels.
So let's unpack this. I want to start with this scenario. Imagine you are at a dinner party or just hanging out with friends, and someone turns to you and casually asks, so how is your money situation looking these days? What is the visceral reaction to that question?
Oh, immediate deflection. Pure panic. I would want to change the subject to literally anything else. Politics, religion, the weather, the impending heat death of the universe. Anything is safer than discussing my bank account.
Right. It is completely taboo. And the common reaction is just, well, shame. It's this heavy, awkward feeling. But here is where it gets really interesting for me. Why do we feel that? Is it just because we are private people? Or is there something else going on beneath the surface?
I think it comes down to what I call the education gap. And this is vital for people to understand so they can stop beating themselves up. Just think about what we learned in school. We spent years and years learning things.
The mitochondria is the
powerhouse of the cell.
Exactly.
We learned algebra. We learned the water cycle. We learned about ancient history and isosceles triangles. But did anyone at any point in those 12 years of mandatory schooling sit you down and explain how a credit card actually works? Did anyone explain compound interest and how it affects your daily life?
Not once. I mean, I could tell you the capital of North Dakota right now. It's right, Bismarck. But nobody told me what an APR was until I was already drowning in debt.
That is the crux of it right there. It is not that people are inherently bad with money. It is that nobody gave us the manual. Nobody gave us the cheat code. But then society turns around and judges us for not knowing. It makes us feel ashamed for failing a test we were never even allowed to study for.
That is such a powerful reframe. It's like being thrown into the deep end of a pool without swimming lessons and then being mocked for drowning. It's actually kind of cruel when you think about it.
It really is. So if you take nothing else away from today, take this. The way you feel about money right now, that anxiety, that shame, is not a reflection of your intelligence. It's not a reflection of your worth as a human being. It is simply a reflection of a gap in your education.
And gaps can be filled.
Oh.
That is the good news.
Exactly. That's why we are here doing this.
I want to touch on something personal here, because this education gap isn't just about school. It's about home, too. I grew up watching my parents stress about bills constantly. Money wasn't a tool in our house. It was a source of conflict. It was the thing that made mom and dad fight. It was the thing that made the whole house go quiet and tense.
That is incredibly common. We absorb that energy completely through osmosis.
I really did. I absorbed the idea that money equals pain, money equals stress, money equals shouting.
I have an analogy for this that I think really helps clarify what is happening psychologically. It's like carry-on luggage.
Okay, walk me through this.
So the beliefs we pick up as children, like money is scarce, or money causes fights, or rich people are greedy, we pick those up and we drag them into adulthood like oversized carry-on luggage. We are walking through our adult lives trying to navigate our careers and our relationships, but we are dragging this heavy, beat-up suitcase that doesn't even fit in the overhead bin.
And we're paying baggage fees for it.
We are paying emotional baggage fees every single day. And the wildest part is, half the time, that luggage isn't even ours. It's our parents' luggage. We just picked it up and kept walking because we didn't know we could put it down.
Man, that hits home. It's like we are operating on a script that someone else wrote 20 years ago. So the first step to fixing this relationship isn't downloading a budget app. It's turning around, looking at that suitcase, and admitting it is actually there.
Naming it is the very first step to putting it down. You have to unzip the suitcase and see what is actually in there.
Okay, so we have established that we have this baggage, but everyone carries it differently. In our research for this topic, we broke this down into 3 specific archetypes, or money personalities. And I have a feeling most people are going to spot themselves immediately in one of these.
Oh, absolutely. These aren't official clinical diagnoses, but they are behavioral patterns we see over and over again in financial psychology.
Let's start with the first one, because this was me for a long time. Type 1, the avoider.
The avoider is the person practicing the ignorance is bliss strategy. They don't open the bills. They don't check the app. They know the monster's in the closet, so they just outright refuse to open the closet door.
I have a confession to make here. I used to be such a severe avoider that I had a strict rule: no checking the bank account on Mondays.
Mondays were a no-fly zone.
Strictly prohibited. I knew I'd probably spend too much over the weekend, maybe went out to dinner, had some drinks, and I didn't want to start my week feeling bad. So I just, didn't look. I waited until Wednesday or Thursday when the guilt had faded a bit.
But the spending had still happened.
That is the problem. Avoiding the data doesn't change the data. It just makes the eventual surprise way worse. But why do we do that? Why does the brain think if I don't see it, it's not real?
This is actually a documented psychological phenomenon called the ostrich effect.
The ostrich effect. Like sticking your head in the sand.
Right. It's the tendency to avoid negative information. And here's the fascinating part. Neuroimaging studies have shown that financial loss, or even the threat of financial loss, lights up the exact same parts of the brain that process physical pain and mortal danger.
Wait, really? So when I am looking at my bank balance and I am scared, my brain thinks I am actually being physically attacked?
In a way, yes. Your amygdala, the fear center, is firing. It perceives a direct threat to your survival. So avoidance isn't just you being lazy. It is a defense mechanism. You are literally flinching away from pain.
That makes so much sense. It's not just a bad habit, it's biology.
Exactly. The avoider chooses the low-level hum of constant anxiety over the sharp, acute pain of reality.
Okay, so that is the avoider. What is type 2?
Type 2 is the stress spender. This one is a little sneaky and very, very common. This is the person who gets stressed out maybe about work, maybe about relationships, or ironically, maybe even about money, and then spends money to self-soothe.
Retail therapy.
It's the, I had a hard day, I deserve this latte, or this shirt, or this new gadget mentality.
But I feel like this is a trap because it works for about 5 minutes.
That is the science of it. But let's look closer at why it works. It's not just about the object you bought. It is about control.
Control.
Think about it. When you are stressed, you usually feel out of control. Your boss is yelling at you, the traffic is terrible, the world is chaotic. But the moment you decide to buy something, you are the master of your domain. You are making a choice. You are exercising agency.
So it's a power trip.
It's a microdose of power. And biologically, it triggers a dopamine loop. The brain predicts a reward, you get the item, you feel the chemical hit, you feel a momentary lift. But then the half-life of that dopamine wears off.
And then you get the bill. Or you look at your account.
And now you are more stressed than you were before. The cortisol comes flooding back in.
Which triggers the desire to soothe again.
And the cycle repeats. Short-term relief, long-term pain. I was definitely a stress spender in my early 20s. Online shopping was my primary way of decompressing after a tough shift. It's a coping mechanism, just a very expensive one.
It's valid, but destructive. Okay, give us type 3. This is the one that I think surprises people because it looks like good behavior on the surface.
Type 3 is the frozen saver.
The frozen saver.
This is the person who is diligent. They save. They have a stockpile of cash. They are the complete opposite of the stress spender, but they are absolutely terrified to spend it, and they are terrified to invest it.
Or hoarding it.
They are clinging to it because it represents safety. But here is the trap. By keeping it all in cash or in a low-interest checking account, they are actually losing money.
Because of inflation.
Exactly. Inflation is the silent thief. If inflation is at 3% and your money is sitting in a checking account earning 0.01%, you are mathematically becoming poorer every single day.
So why don't they invest? Why don't they put it to work?
It's a concept called loss aversion. Psychologically, the pain of losing $100 is about twice as intense as the pleasure of gaining $100. The frozen saver is so terrified of that pain of the market going down that they paralyze themselves.
They fear the potential loss so much that they guarantee a slow, certain loss.
Exactly. They are frozen in a defensive crouch. They think they are being safe, but they are actually slowly bleeding value.
It's fascinating because all three of these, the avoider, the stress spender, the frozen saver, they're all driven by the exact same thing. Fear. Fear of seeing the truth, fear of feeling bad, or fear of losing safety.
And regardless of which one you identify with, and you might be a mix of all three depending on the day, the good news is that these are just patterns. They aren't your DNA. You can completely overwrite them.
Which brings us to the most important part of this deep dive, the cheat codes.
Yeah.
We have identified the problem. We have diagnosed the personality types. Now let's talk about the fix. We have 3 cheat codes to reset your money mindset today.
Let's do it.
Cheat code number 1, make money a boring habit.
This sounds counterintuitive because we usually want things to be exciting. We want passion, but with money, excitement is usually bad.
Drama is bad for the wallet.
Right. Most people treat money like a dramatic emergency. They only pay attention when something breaks, when they overdraft, or when a massive bill is due. It's always high stakes.
It's firefighting. You wait until the house is actually burning down to pick up the hose.
Exactly. We want to move from firefighting to, well, brushing your teeth.
So what is the tactical move here? How do we actually make it boring?
The money date. You schedule 15 minutes, just 15 minutes once a week, same time, same day. You sit down, you open your accounts, you look at the numbers, you check your credit card balance, and then you close it.
That's it. Just look.
That's it. You aren't necessarily trying to solve the national debt in that 15 minutes. You aren't trying to rebalance your entire portfolio. You are just looking.
I love this because it is basically exposure therapy.
It is. The first time you do it, you might sweat, your heart rate might go up. The second time, it's annoying. But by week 6, it's just Tuesday. It becomes neutral. And when money becomes neutral, you stop making emotional decisions.
You take the charge completely out of it. It's no longer a monster in the closet. It's just a chore, like folding laundry.
Exactly. Make it boring. Boredom is the goal here.
Okay, I am sold on the money date. Let's move to cheat code number 2. This one is huge for the mindset. Separate self-worth from net worth.
This is the one that makes people cry when they really get it.
It's a heavy one. We live in a culture that screams at us that our value is directly tied to what we have. The car, the zip code, the brand names on our clothes.
And so when your finances are a mess, you feel like you are a mess. You feel like a failure of a person. You feel like you don't deserve good things.
But the cheat code is realizing that a bank balance is literally just data.
That is all it is. It is a number on a screen. It is a data point reflecting a series of past decisions and circumstances.
Right.
It is not a report card on your soul. It doesn't measure your kindness, your creativity, or your value to your friends.
So how do we shift that thinking practically? Because it is super easy to say don't feel bad, but it's really hard to do.
You have to move from being the victim of your finances to being the CEO of your finances. Think about a CEO looking at a quarterly report. If the numbers are down, does the CEO curl up in a ball under the desk and cry?
No. They say, okay, revenue is down, expenses are up. What is our strategy for next quarter?
Precisely. It is objective. It is strategic. When you separate your worth from the numbers, you can actually look at the numbers and make a real plan. You can say, okay, this is the data. What is the next move?
CEO energy. I like that a lot. It puts you back in the driver's seat. You aren't your bank account. You are the manager of it.
Yes, you're the boss.
Yeah.
And a boss doesn't take the numbers personally. A boss fixes them.
Okay, cheat code number 3. And this one's my personal favorite because it flies in the face of what every other finance guru tells you. Cheat code 3. Start obscenely small?
Obscenely small, like ridiculously small.
Explain that. Because usually people say go big or go home.
And that is exactly why people fail. We fall into the all or nothing trap. We get motivated. We listen to a podcast like this one, and we say, okay, I am going to save 30% of my paycheck starting tomorrow. I am going to cut all discretionary spending, no more coffee. I will live on rice and beans.
And that lasts about 4 days.
If you are lucky, then you slip up, you buy one latte, and you think, well, I failed. Might as well give up entirely. It is the diet mentality.
And what is the alternative to that?
The alternative is to set a goal so small that it is literally impossible to fail. I'm talking about a $5 weekly automatic transfer.
$5.
$5. Set it up so it moves from your checking to your savings every Monday automatically.
But look, I can hear the listeners right now. They're saying $5 isn't going to make me rich. That wouldn't even buy a sandwich in this economy.
It is not about the sandwich. And it is not about the wealth accumulation. Not yet, anyway. It is about the identity.
Talk to me about the identity piece.
This comes from the concept of atomic habits. When you see that transfer happen week 1, week 2, week 3, you are proving to yourself that you are the kind of person who saves money. You are building the habit. You are building the neural pathway.
You are casting a vote for the person you want to be.
Exactly. Every time that $5 hits your savings, your phone buzzes and says you just saved money. You are hacking your own self-perception. Once you have the habit, increasing the amount is easy. You can bump it to $10, then $20, then $50. But you cannot optimize a habit that does not exist.
That is such a huge nugget right there. You cannot optimize a habit that does not exist. You have to build the container before you can fill it up.
Yes. Start obscenely small, build the win streak, prove to yourself that you can do it, because consistency beats intensity every single time.
I love that. So let's recap these 3 cheat codes quickly, because this is the toolkit. Number 1, make money a boring habit. Schedule a 15-minute weekly money date. Make it routine, make it dull, take the emotion right out of it. Number 2, separate self-worth from net worth. Your bank account is data, not a verdict on your value. Adopt that CEO energy. And number 3, start obscenely small, $5 a week. Focus on building the identity of a saver, not just the pile of cash. Thank you for stepping into the deep end with us.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us. It truly means everything.
Remember, the cheat code is yours. All you have to do is use it.
Until next time, this is the Money Cheat Code Podcast. See you next week.